Good evening, Marshall Reddick investors. Welcome to our presentation on the Austin, Texas investment market. Joining me tonight is my amazing Texas partner, Erin Stevens. Erin and I work together on a regular basis with helping our clients achieve their investment goals. She's a phenomenal partner and a wealth of knowledge on the Texas market. You'll be hearing from her in just a bit. And I want to give you a little bit of information about myself. I am a licensed real estate agent here in Newport Beach, California. I work out of the Newport Beach Marshall Reddick office. I've had 20 plus years of experience in residential real estate. I've also had experience in real estate finance, and I am an avid investor personally. I love anything to do with real estate. Experience in fix and flips, in investment properties, buy and holds. I've also invested in individual mortgages and our mortgage fund. So anything that is slightly real estate is definitely my passion. And I wanted to also tell you, for our newer listeners, a little bit about who Marshall Reddick is. We have been a full service brokerage doing business for 40 plus years. Our business is comprised of 3 divisions. Our first division is the traditional brokerage, which you always think about when you think about real estate. We help buyers and sellers buy primary and investment properties. We also have a private money lending divisions. So if we have an investor who wants to invest in real estate but does not want to be a landlord, we offer the option of being the bank. You can actually own a mortgage and collect the mortgage payments rather than being a landlord and collecting the rent. We also have a mortgage fund that is a little bit less labor intensive. You don't have to pick the actual mortgages. You can actually be part of a pool, and we initiate and fund mortgages on behalf of investors who want to do fix and flip or other real estate transactions. And then lastly, probably the most critical component of investing in real estate is property management, having a good property manager, boots on the ground in your market. So we encompass all 3 of those divisions, and we keep it in-house and keep it very, very seamless for our investors. A little bit about our markets. We have strategically chosen specific markets based on criteria. The green boxes on your slide will denote our physical offices and in-house property management, aka boots on the ground. Then if you look at how we choose our markets, first thing we look at is job market. Is it strong and stable? What about the vacancy rate? We look for properties in areas that have a very low vacancy rate. Economic diversity. Is there a thriving economy? Housing affordability. How affordable is it for a tenant to live there? Landlord friendly, of course, most important. Strong education. Are there good colleges and universities? And then, of course, reliable property management. Now, in my opinion, that should be number 1, but it is definitely a key component. And as you'll learn tonight, Austin is one of the markets that we have chosen to send our investors to just because of all of these things. From here, I would like to let Erin take it over. You'll really learn a lot from her tonight, a little bit about the ins and outs of the Austin market. So Erin, I'm going to have you take it away.
Thank you so much, Sherry. I appreciate it. That was a lovely introduction as well. Sherry and I partner on many deals here in Central Texas, and she is also a trusted partner and integral part of Marshall Reddick. So a little bit about me. I am one of those, as they say here in Texas, who comes from California. Born and raised in the Central Valley. My parents are entrepreneurs and also real estate investors and very happy clients of Marshall Reddick. I was lucky enough to know that my passion lied in real estate. So I have some property management experience specifically in my high school years, but I am also a landlord, own property and find tenants for myself. I am personally invested here in Austin. I went to college at Texas State University that will be just south of Austin. I did a semester there and then moved back to Los Angeles to complete what college I did. I started working with Keller Williams in 2012. I was around 21 at the time. And so that was a very interesting market to kind of dip my toes in and get a little bit of experience. I followed my parents out here to Texas in 2014 and subsequently got licensed. I have been practicing here in Austin since, and I've been a part of over 800 closed transactions and entered over 280 listings into the Austin MLS. So I feel as though I am relatively qualified when it comes to, getting offers accepted and the specific terms that make our contracts really desirable to listing agents. We'll get a little bit more into that later. I also pride myself very much on being consultative and strategic, whether it be for a first-time home buyer or my many Marshall Reddick investors. This is my lovely Central Texas team. You'll see me down there on the right, and this is our Realtor, our San Antonio and Austin, as we say, Central Texas group. We've got our Realtors and our property management team. They are an integral part of my practice. As Sherry was saying, that's something we pride ourselves on here at Marshall Reddick, is being as full service as humanly possible to our clients. These are our lovely owners of Marshall Reddick out in Orange County. You can check us out on Zillow. We all have that's a fabulous resource to see how pleased our clients are. If you have any questions around that, we're happy to answer. Also, we have these to kind of speak for themselves. So as we were kind of alluding to, we are able to, through brokerage and property management, we're able to consult our clients on what will be best to, or I focus on how to purchase the home for as little as possible, and property management then can consult you on make readies to get the home ready for rent and to maximize the potential the home has via the rent. This is a perfect example of what we consider the Austin metro area. It goes from north in Georgetown, as you can see, all the way down to San Marcos, which is actually where I went to college. And just below that, we also have New Braunfels, which is a great little hybrid market in between San Antonio and Austin. But as you can see, it's relatively large. One of the benefits of the Austin metro area as a whole is, regardless of where you choose a property to invest in, it will be a solid investment strategy regardless of location. Whether it be north, south, east, west, or central, there are different benefits to the different areas that we'll get into a little bit more here in a second. So here are some general statistics for the Austin metro area. And this is one of the things that we use in order to determine if a market is going to be good for our investors, as Ms. Sherry was alluding to at the beginning. I have been here the last 8 years. I was actually not aware we have 2.2 whole million people here in Austin, and I think that has increased significantly over the last 8 years I've been here. The median age is 33 years of age. Also something I would get into a little bit later. We do have a very diverse group of tenants, or just people living here in Austin, and that is something that my clients benefit from. We have a lot of young professionals and young families. We have Tesla coming to Southeast Austin, so that's going to garner even more young professionals and young families. And then the median income is $80,000. That is going to be increasing as we get more people coming from California and New York. So this is our map of current properties under management. We have a huge market in San Antonio, which is great for your cash on cash return clients. And then we've got our Austin market, which is really, really great for appreciation. I will get into that a little bit more here in a second. And as you can kind of see from the Austin map, it is diverse around the city. We've got lots of people south, we've got lots of people north, as well as central. And I'll be discussing Pflugerville as a market and also Southeast Austin as a market. Pflugerville has close proximity to the Apple campus, as well as Samsung. Downtown is where a lot of tech companies have offices, and Southeast Austin will be where Tesla will have a campus that will actually be open to the public. That area of Austin is very beautiful. So that was, I think, a very good idea on Mr. Elon's part. He will also have a factory in Southeast Austin, and that will bring many, many jobs to the area. So why Central Texas? We've got several reasons that make Central Texas a great idea to invest in property. As you can see here, Texas is the second highest population in the state, and I do believe that is going to continue to steadily increase over the next couple of years. Texas is very landlord friendly. There are lots of states that are not. As to the next point, the lowest market default rate through COVID in Marshall Reddick. That was a statistic that we were actually fortunate enough to, we had the metrics to garner that statistic. And that was very interesting to us as well. Even during COVID, there were moratoriums and things like that, but we were still relatively landlord friendly under the circumstances. Central Texas is a minimal disaster zone. The only thing we really have to worry about in certain areas of the city are being in a flood zone. And that's one of the things that I'm very sensitive to on behalf of my clients. We're not going to be purchasing a property in a flood zone, primarily because I got a quote for flood insurance on a home and it was $400 a month. So just not really practical from a cash on cash return standpoint. But that is something that we are very mindful of. And that's really the only thing that we are fortunate enough to have to be concerned with. We're central enough in Texas to not have tornadoes like Dallas, and we're inland enough to not be, too affected by hurricanes like a market like Houston. Central Texas has the most diversified workforce, military, government, tech, corporate, industrial, and medical. We've got a humongous military community in San Antonio. We also have a very large military community in Fort Hood, just north of Austin. Austin is obviously the capital of Texas, so we have many government workers because of that. From a tech standpoint, they call us the Silicon Valley of the South, and that is definitely a big feature of the city. We've got, we've probably been the Silicon Valley of the South for the last 10 years, with that increasing more here in the present with people like Tesla coming to the city. We do have some industrial markets that will be a little bit south in San Marcos and a town called Seguin. And then there is a humongous medical community here in Austin, as well as San Antonio. The Northwest Medical Center in San Antonio is acclaimed, and Austin also has a pretty significant industry there as well. The Austin Round Rock area had a net migration of 355,902 between 2010 and 2019, which is 20% of the metro's population of 1.716289 million. So Austin is ranked as the #1 place in the nation to live by US News and World Report. I believe that was last year. It was also considered the hottest market in the country. We had a significant amount of appreciation from the fourth quarter of 2020 into the beginning of 2021 that kind of carried through 2021. Conveniently for me and my clients, the market is balancing out a little bit. Forbes listed Austin as the 8th best place for business and careers, and 9th best for job growth, and 16th for places for education. We do have better schools in comparison to maybe California. That's slightly less of the schools have slightly less of an impact on your investment. Here in Texas, you have many choices when it comes to schooling that are all very quality, that your tenants can make on their behalf and as they see fit. Austin receives an A grade from niche.com with top of the class grades from public schools, family living, nightlife, and diversity. That is something I can attest to, having lived here for so long. Our public schools are generally very good. We have a lot of private schools scattered throughout the Austin metro area. It is very family friendly. It is also very, I would say, generally friendly. A lot of people are charmed by especially Californians, enjoy the nature that we have here in Austin. Downtown has a very vibrant nightlife, and as mentioned, the city is very, very diverse. There's absolutely something for everyone here, and that's something that I love as well. The music scene in Austin is second to none, earning the city's nickname, the live music capital of the world. That is also something that I can attest to. We have a thing they do in the summertime called Blues on the Green, where you can listen to live music from local artists, and because that was outside, that was not something that was necessarily impacted by COVID, which was you know, kind of a nice option for people to enjoy under the circumstances. And we have several music festivals here a year. We have South by Southwest. We also have Austin City Limits, and that garners a lot of you know, entertainment traffic. There's many people who come from all over the world to see those here in Austin. So why Austin, Texas? Austin is ranked as the #1 place in the nation to live by US News and World Report. Again, we have a rapidly growing job market, especially again with Tesla coming into town. The cost of living, generally speaking, not necessarily when it comes to the prices of homes, is low, but the general cost of living is significantly lower than somewhere like California or New York. And that is something that I have enjoyed in my time here as well. Again, we have not only just general diversity, but diversity within the neighborhoods. We have beautiful weather, I would say 80% of the year. We have a health and fitness culture, which stems from kind of the beautiful nature that we have in Austin. There are many hike and bike trails, even within neighborhoods. There's lots of green belts here. People really do enjoy hiking and jogging and walking. You can see in the photo, we've got Lady Bird Lake or Town Lake, and a lot of people enjoy, you know, taking walks, spending time with their dogs at the park, etc. With the live music. And we also have our famous Texas hospitality. So these will be our top employers here in Austin. I did mention a couple of them. Apple will be in North Austin. I believe IBM is going to be in Central Austin, as well as Dell. Amazon has a distribution factory in San Marcos currently. I believe Deloitte is also near IBM in Central Austin, as well as Oracle. Walmart is has a big distribution center here as well. And then here in the very near future, I would say within the next 3 years, we're going to start seeing the Tesla infrastructure start to go up in Southeast Austin. So as Ms. Sherry mentioned, one of the factors that we look for is the education infrastructure that a city has. And we have the University of Texas at Austin here in just down the street from the Capitol, actually. It was founded in 1883 and ranks among the 40 best universities in the world. We have 40,000 undergraduate students, employs 24,000 faculty and staff, and ranks number 7 for U.S. public schools, according to Business First in 2020. So a little bit more information about the job market here in Austin. Austin ranks as the 2nd best performing job market over the last 12 months. Job growth in Austin was 4.1% between February 2020 and November 2021. That seems to track statistically with the way the real estate market was going. Unemployment rate in Austin metro area is 3.2% as of November 2021, according to the BLS. So this is kind of a general statistic around our Reddick rating guide when it comes to the property classes. The average price in 2021 was $488,600. It has not increased very much from then, which is nice. As you can also see, we have the spike that we had in 2020 kind of goes along the lines of what I was saying a second ago with we had a very drastic spike in increase in prices from the last quarter of 2020 into 2021. And also to reiterate, the prices have increased relatively significantly, but we are seeing a little bit of a balance out where we've established a new market value and it is higher than it was in 2020, but it's been validated over or through 2021. So some Austin real estate statistics for you. The Zillow Home Value Index for Austin is 639,839 through January 2022. Home values in Austin have increased by 33.1% over the last year. Over the past 5 years, home values in Austin have increased by nearly 90%. Average days on market for a home in Austin is 22 days. I can attest to the increase in value. I sold a home in Southeast Austin in 2020 and made $30,000 pure profit. If I had a crystal ball and would have waited until 2021, that profit would have been closer to $75,000. So the Austin, Texas rental market statistics are the median rent in Austin is around $2,300 per month for a 3-bedroom home, according to the most recent research from Zumper, which is a rental website. Rent in Austin has increased by 18% year over year. Over the past 3 years, rents for a 3-bedroom place in Austin have increased about 27%. Renter-occupied households in Austin make up 61% of the total occupied housing units in the metropolitan area. And one of the reasons for that is a lot of first-time homebuyers or primary purchasers will attempt to purchase in the Austin market currently. We often have multiple offers. Last year, it was around 75 offers on one property. This year, we've gotten it down to about 10 offers on a property. And so what ends up happening, the rental market and also my clients end up benefiting from people losing on offers on homes, and they just end up needing a place to rent. If you would like more information on this, we can, you have access to our free market data packet that Sherry and I would be happy to provide and discuss. So now we have some hand-picked income properties. The first two that we'll talk about are properties that my clients have actually seen some appreciation on. Then I'll give you more information about the Pflugerville market and the Southeast Austin market. So this example, 4502 Turnstone, was purchased by a client of mine in March of 2021. He asked me in September of 2021 to run comps for him, and based on a seller net sheet, he would have netted $130,000 pure profit in 6 months. You can see that when we purchased it for $315,000, and you can see the condition that we purchased it in. You can actually go to our website and type in this address if you'd be interested in seeing the upgrades that he did to this property. The current comps state that we could list the home at $515,000. It was about 6 months ago when he asked me to run the comps. The price of the home was $475,000. One of the reasons we see so much appreciation with this specific home is its proximity to downtown. The closer you are to Central Austin, the higher the appreciation you're going to see. With that being said, we have several markets such as Manor that is directly east of downtown that is still very, very beneficial due to its relative close proximity to downtown. People are willing to commute typically at maximum about 45 minutes outside of where they work, and Manor's within about 25 minutes of downtown. So next I'd like to highlight this property in an area called Pflugerville. It's going to be northeast of downtown Austin. This is a very growing area that we have. It's also going to be directly east of an area of Austin called Tech Ridge, which is where the Apple campus is currently located. There's also a Samsung campus in the area, so that obviously has a significant amount of a very large job pool that we will be able to garner many tenants for. So this is an ideal property within one of our ideal markets. It is growing very, very rapidly. As you can see, we have a 4.6% annual appreciation currently. This home would technically be considered an A+ or a luxury class property based on its current list price, as well as locations and tenants it would go ahead and garner for us. It is built in 2018, and we're not allowed to purchase new home construction properties for investors here in Austin. So being between 2015 and 2021, a like new home is very comparable from an investment standpoint. I would like to then focus on your fixed monthly expenses. As mentioned, Austin is going to be our appreciation market. We're not going to see a significant amount of cash on cash return, honestly, if any. But that the appreciation will definitely accommodate for that. One thing to note about appreciation versus cash flow, if this home were to need a new roof in the next 10 years, your appreciation would actually absorb that cost, and then it would add further value on top of what you already have in the home in the eyes of a future buyer. Whereas if we were just focusing on cash flow on a property like this, even if you had any cash flow, it would be eaten immediately from a large expense such as something like a roof being needed. Here we have, these are what we call our Marshall Reddick numbers. It gives you a breakdown of the finances. We have it at a 25% down. Of course, properties cash flow if you end up paying cash. We always give you an estimate on the initial repair cost based on what we can see from the home. And I've actually toured this one in person, and the house is in very good condition. We also run rental rate comparables for you, and we add this number here so we can get you your numbers on the property. So this one is a very good example of the average property that you could invest in Pflugerville. Next, we have Southeast Austin that I would like to highlight. The Tesla campus will be in this area. It's called Onion Creek. It will be within a 10-mile radius of the Austin Bergstrom Airport. This home is also located within that 10-minute radius. This one is a little bit more affordable. It's also or slightly lower priced, built in 2013. I have also toured this home in person, and it is in very good condition. I also personally purchased a home in this neighborhood in September of 2020. I decided to sell in 2018 and sold in September of 2020 and made a $30,000 profit after, updating floors and paint. So a very minor flip garnered us a pretty significant profit. And if, as mentioned, if I had a crystal ball, that could have potentially been 75K. I did have neighbors that sold in 2021 for significantly over what I would consider market value. So we all did pretty well, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally. So I have a personal bias towards this neighborhood, but as we can see, the 15-year annual return on investment is about, I believe that's a little bit over 3% higher than it was in the previous slide in Pflugerville. With that being said, these numbers are estimates, and the properties actually do end up performing a little bit better than what we predict with these numbers. As you can see, the gross rents are relatively high on these properties. As mentioned, they will be very close to $1 a square foot. You can see that this one is just over 2,000 square feet. We're able to garner a little bit more than even $1 a square foot. So this one will have, you've got Pflugerville, which will be northeast in Austin. That's great for the Apple Samsung contingency in Tech Ridge, as well as the general area. You'll also have very close proximity to Round Rock and Georgetown from Pflugerville. The benefits of here in Southeast Austin will, of course, be the future Tesla infrastructure going in, as well as these two cities are not, or these two areas are very good for infill. We've got a lot of space available and they're developing very, very rapidly. That also helps with your appreciation with the new homes going in at more expensive prices. That will take up the value of the slightly older homes as well. So as mentioned, really anywhere in the Austin metro area is a fabulous place to invest. So here's some information about our property management side of the company. I personally I rent a home and have a property management company, and am very proud to say that there is a contrast between Marshall Reddick and this company. I may have a bias, but I think we are one of the better property management companies in town. I believe our fees are very, very reasonable, and we give you incredibly high level service. That's something that we like to carry through in all of the arms of the company that we offer on behalf of our owners. We do 8% of 1 month's rent when the property is leased on a single family home, and 2 to 4 units. We do 7% of 1 month's rent when the property is fully leased out. Those are typically what I focus on behalf of my clients, but we can represent you on 5 to 15, 16 to 29, and 30 plus. So this is what you can expect from a consultation with an advisor, which is Miss Sherry, or one of our other lovely advisors that we work very closely with here at Marshall Reddick. So we have why, how, when, what, where, and who. Why is goal setting. This is where my consultative approach comes in handy for both me and my clients. I am very good at helping you assess what your specific goals are and then executing on that. We then evaluate the options based on your criteria. We can decide a time frame on when is right for you to purchase. Factors that can determine when include things like using a 1031 exchange, where that gives us a very specific time frame to complete a sale and purchase of a property. Also just based on bonuses or different investment strategies. What would be setting your criteria? That's pretty general. Most of the time, the criteria that a lot of my clients are looking for would be a 3 to 4 bedroom home, a 2 to 3 bathroom home between 1,400 square feet and 2,200 square feet. And then, as mentioned, you can pretty much buy anywhere in the Austin metro area, and it will be a very solid investment. Identifying the markets, as I was just kind of alluding to, if you have a preference, I have clients who work for Apple, so they're interested in being closer to the Apple campus to potentially garner Apple tenants. Round Rock and Georgetown are slightly more established in the northern part of the Austin metro area, whereas Southeast Austin and Buda are places that are a little bit more up and coming. And who would be all of the key players here at Marshall Reddick. So you would start with your advisor, and your advisor would pass you off to the realtor in the market that they felt was best for your goals. And then if that was me here in Austin, I would get you through contract to close, and then we can introduce you to our property management team. I work very, very closely with them. And then if you decide to use property management, I end up listing the property for lease, and I would be your leasing agent here in Austin. And then ideally, the last two would be your fabulous tenant. So just to wrap up my part of the conversation, it has been hypothesized via a couple websites that the Austin real estate market is going to slow down or plateau within the next 3 to 5 years. However, I have seen it steadily increase year over year until 2021, where prices skyrocketed. The market is also normalizing from the frenzy of last year, but a higher market value has been established. With the coming of the Tesla campus and the factory in Southeast Austin, and a still steady influx of people coming from not only California, but also the East Coast, demand is increasing while inventory still remains low. We're in about an 85% seller's market, which is down from last year where we were in about a 98% seller's market. You can kind of gather that from having a significant reduction in the amount of offers on one property. And one thing I'd like to touch on is a nuance of the Austin metro area. A new construction for investors via a loan is not allowed. They had a desire to keep that inventory for primary purchasers. I believe that a cash offer would be able to close on that. And I do have some builders that will release their new home inventory to my clients as long as it's above 600,000. Our rents average $1 a square foot. Larger homes will be closer to 80 cents a square foot, and some can go up as high as 120 a square foot, just based on condition, location, etc. One of the things that I kind of joke with my clients is we all should have bought 3 years ago or more, but hindsight is 2020. And so the sooner you get in, the less pain in your pocket. And that should do it.
Thank you so much, Erin. That was great, great information. There are so many moving parts in a real estate transaction. The old saying, it really takes a village, really, really holds true in real estate. That Austin's a great market, and I think Erin did a great job of explaining it and getting a little bit of a foundation for learning and getting to know what the Austin market is and what to expect from it. There's so much more we can do going forward. Love to have you guys reach out, schedule a complimentary consultation. You can contact me. I've got a screenshot right now of my contact information. I can get you in touch with Erin. Definitely reach out. We can also send you some more information. We can send you the PowerPoint of this presentation so you can review it at your leisure. Would definitely like to hear from you. I hope everybody enjoyed tonight's presentation. One last thing, we're not going to do Q&As tonight, but if you do have a question, you can go ahead and type it in the question, and we will get back to you individually on any and all questions that you have within 24 hours. So once again, Erin, thank you so much for a great presentation, and we hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thanks, Sherry.